Previously on They See Me Rollin'.
We are an anti-monarchist group. I need you to drop this package off there.
I put the package down.
You're under arrest
For what?
Wait,
for being members of the Blazing Dusk.
The what?
And they throw you in the cell.
Bye.
Inside the cell with you is your cellmate, a little girl.
Thanks for the clothes.
So, you're with us. They lead you into another room, and there's this fat, bald man sitting there.
Hi.
You guys are new to the Blazing Dusk, aren't you? Do you want your freedom? 1, admit you are Blazing Dusk. 2, tell us where the headquarters are. If you provide us with this information, we will give you each
Pumpernickel?
1,000 gold.
Skumk, what do you think?
You can't buy the really good bugs at a store.
Sorry, I have never heard of this organization that you're talking about.
All right, bring them back to their cells.
I
We're
read
done
about
here.
it in a magazine once, I think.
Okay, so last we heard from you guys, you are in jail and you pissed off a fat bald guy.
awesome. So we're back in our jail cells now, in the jail cell.
That's just every day for us, Dan.
You're back in your jail cell with that girl,
All right.
and
I'm gonna-
there are 2 sets of bunks, so there's bed enough for each of you. And she looks at you and says, "What was that all about?"
Which one of us is she looking at?
All of you. She's just taking you all in.
In all of our glory.
Skumk,
Yes.
why don't you take this one?
He was a cranky guy.
Who's he?
We don't know.
Just some guy we met, I don't know.
kept asking us questions.
Was it the magistrate?
No, some
I
other
don't
guy.
know.
Well, we would know because we don't know what he looks like.
Well, he told us about the magistrate, right?
Was there a trial? Did he present your charges and then deem you guilty or not guilty?
He told us to confess to being associated with some kind of thing, right? That thing we're associated with.
He
But
tried
we're
to
actually-
get
Yes, he told us that.
But we're actually not associated with that, as you know, Skunk.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on most of the time.
By the way, the only reason I asked Skunk to go first is I used this opportunity to claim the top bunk.
Meanwhile, I'm doing push-ups. I'm with
Okay.
my feet up on the bed.
on using your fists.
Yeah, on my fists.
Oh,
Can I get an
of
athletics
course.
roll to see how many push-ups I do?
Absolutely.
This is the episode where Coen turns into Uncle Iroh in season 3.
All right, so that's an 11.
That you
Maybe
did an
3
attack
push-ups.
roll. So okay, yeah, you did. You do 11 push-ups. It's not much. You're not really impressing anyone.
I'm a big guy. Come on, that's hard. It's not easy.
Hey, I put my hand on Coen's shoulder and say, "Don't worry, buddy. Every step, this is just the first step in a long journey. You're doing good."
The girl says, "Hey, so this doesn't sound like you talked to the magistrate if he was trying to get you to confess something, and you kind of ignored all my other questions. So I think
I'm not really certain what we're talking about.
I'm never certain that you know what we're talking about, but I want to just say you didn't tell anyone anything, did you?"
Nope, we told him nothing.
It never even crossed our minds.
Oh, what a fucking liar.
Coen laughs at that, but says nothing.
It never crossed my mind.
So she's like, "Well, okay, good. I trust you. Well, I mean, I trust a couple of you.
Am
Well,
I
I
one
trust
of
that
them?
guy." She's like, "I don't know that Well, I guess I could trust you because I don't know that you'd think well enough to lie.
I don't
Let's.
consider myself a trustworthy person, but I don't like to label myself in that way.
Well, at least you're. See, I think you're trustworthy because you
Madam,
just said that.
I swear to you on Bast, we told them nothing.
Well, good. Did he seem? I would guess he was really mad about that, right? Because I
He
heard a
seemed
little bit of
rather
yelling.
pissed.
He seemed kind of upset. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
not great at picking up on that kind of thing.
well, hopefully it was no one important. I'm gonna go to sleep now. And she climbs into the lower bunk on the right hand side. So like there's two bunks pressed flush against the wall. I don't know which top bunk Jelly went and took, but she takes the bottom right.
I start
I'm
doing
on-
sit-ups.
I'm on the top right.
I'll take the
Okay.
other top bunk.
And that leaves Coen taking the bunk that I guess he's doing push-ups on.
Yep, but I'm doing sit-ups at the moment.
Oh, okay. Do you want to roll to see how many sit-ups you do?
Sure, 14.
You rolled a 14? All right. Despite your girth, you managed to do about 35 sit-ups.
Because of.
Good job. Yeah.
And I'm wondering where the I need the prison tattoo artist is so I can get revenge written on my knuckles.
All right. So you guys end up going to sleep, and what feels like a very short time later, you are woken up by a guardsman clanging two pots very loudly right outside your cell and shouting directly into your cell, "Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!"
Good morning.
Wow.
Hello.
That's hurting my head.
You hear the other inmates kind of groaning, but you definitely got the worst of it. And he then leaves your cell and starts unlocking every other cell that's not yours, allowing everyone to get to breakfast. You notice that as the inmates leave their cells, they're heading towards the door on the end of the hallway that's that's opposite the side of the hallway that you came in from when you were deloused.
Cool.
Okay.
We're gonna miss breakfast.
After he lets everyone before you, he then comes to your cell and he just kind of looks at you and smirks and he goes, "Well, I guess I gotta let you guys go too." And he then slowly, like tauntingly, takes the key and turns it ever so gently within your lock until you finally, after what seems like at least 2 minutes, hear it click and the door then opens.
I'm going to note this guy down in my mental ledger that he needs to have some serious revenge gotten on him.
This whole time, Skumk is looking for bugs and rats. Are there? Can I make a survival check to see if there's any bugs or rats?
Absolutely.
That's a 6.
You don't see anything except a cockroach that's near the guard. The guard sees you look at it hungrily, and he steps on the cockroach and squishes it.
That takes patience to
I
catch the good
I-
bugs.
I walk up to the door and I look at him like I'm about to say something, but then I say nothing and I just walk on.
Yeah, I head to the breakfast room and pretend that this douchebag doesn't exist.
Thanks for letting us out of this cell.
He just
Have a good
smiles at
morning.
you. And he's like, "Oh, it's my pleasure."
That's kind of weird.
I want to say something, but I don't. I keep going.
So you guys walk through the door and you find yourselves in a cafeteria. You walk in there and you're at the end of a line, but it's not terribly long because, obviously it's not a huge prison. And it's going pretty quickly, and you realize why it's going pretty quickly. You each are handed nothing more than a bowl and a wooden spoon.
Oh.
And they fill your bowl with very runny, watery porridge. And they also hand you a cup, like a clay cup of just brown water.
All right.
And,
I take it.
Yep.
And is there a free table?
There is one free table, and the girl who's in the cell with you is leading the way. She grabs a spot at the empty table and looks at you guys.
Is this the cool table?
I go sit with the girl.
I want to do it. I want to do a perception check to scope out the cafeteria and see where all the cliques sit. Like where are the jocks? Where are the nerds? The
Where are
goth
the
kids.
neo-Nazis.
Yes, the neo-Nazis.
Okay, go ahead, roll a perception check.
Okay.
This is a weird prison with goths, nerds, and neo-Nazis.
Let's see. Is perception wisdom or intelligence?
Wisdom.
Okay, you rolled a 12. All you really notice is that, there's 3 tables, and the girl has sat at the empty table on the far end. The other 2 tables, all the inmates are kind of sitting together and either, mostly just kind of eating in silence. There is one small kind of raucous group of 4 people. It is 2 human men, 1 dwarf, and a lady gnome. And they, particularly one of the human men, look at you as you walk to your table and chuckles to himself and then does a swift motion with his elbow to taunt you as though he was like going to strike out at you from where he's sitting.
Why are you doing that?
Is he doing this at me specifically, Stan?
No, he's just doing that kind of at all of you. All of you.
I just look down at my plate and just walk over to the girls' table.
Why are you doing that?
I'm sitting at the table eating the food with gusto.
Okay. Did you stop to ask him that?
Yeah.
I don't like the look of your friends.
Yeah, me neither. They're okay, but I've had better.
At that he looks, and I really don't like the look of you.
Oh, thanks. I like to see the best in people.
You guys sit down, and the girl says, by the way, my name is Ramona.
You look like a Ramona.
Well, thank you. I don't think I got your names.
I'm Jelly Butter.
I am Coen Greyfield at your service, ma'am.
I'm Skumk.
That sounds fitting.
Thanks.
Okay. I'd like to kind of get back to what we were talking about yesterday. Today, after this, we're going to be going to our work areas, and basically, have you kind of gotten the lay of the building that we're in?
Not exact.
Kind of, yeah. I might actually get to use a background feature. I'm a wanderer as part of my backstory. And what comes with that is I have excellent memory for maps and geography, so I can always recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, and other features around me.
Okay. Well, what you've
Cool
noticed
feature.
then so far is obviously you know that there's the lobby, essentially on the far end of the building where you came in from, which then leads to the delousing area. From the delousing area, that leads directly to the cells where you guys are being kept. And then at the far end of the cells is the cafeteria that you're in right now.
And are there any exits from the cafeteria?
There is another cafeteria on the opposite end of from where you entered. There is another door.
Cafeteria? Oh, another door.
Right. As well, there is a door that's... So when you enter in the cafeteria from the cells, there's a door on the far end, and there's a door on the left as you come in from the cells that leads outside to a kind of a little garden area.
The yard.
Seems
right,
like
the
a
yard.
nice place.
So she says, all right, so you see the door over there? And she points to the door that's opposite from where you came in from the cells.
I've got a mouthful of food, and I go, yeah,
She says, that's the door, like you go in there, that's the offices. Also, there's the entrance there to the basement, which really was just the lower part of the dungeon that this once was. Down there, that's where they keep everyone in solitary confinement. I've worked down there before, and I noticed there's another room down there. I don't know what it is. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but you can't do magic here.
Really?
I have not noticed that.
Well, then you probably haven't tried. I'm a wizard, and I can't cast anything. I've got a feeling that since I've pretty much been everywhere else in this building, that there is some kind of magic dampening inside that room. The first thing we ever do if we plan to escape is we got to get inside that room. We've got to destroy that thing, or at least turn it off or something.
Who takes care of, sanitation around here? Is that a job that's handed out to prisoners?
Yes, I used to do that.
I see. So who works down around that area now, do you know?
It's a small group of prisoners. It's and she turns around and points at the far table, and she points out 3 inmates.
Everybody's keeping a good distance from them because they're the sanitation workers.
If we could create a distraction, maybe something along the lines of, I don't know, a prison riot. If we let those guys know first, they might be able to get us down there while all that's going on and the guards are distracted.
We could make friends with those dudes.
Or
That's not that's actually not a bad idea. I like that. Then you hear a voice say, "What's that you like?" And it's that tall human who was giving you the stink eye earlier. And he's got that dwarf, that another human that was there with him who's very, very large, big dude. And the gnome woman who was with him is not with him anymore. And he says, "Nice group of friends you got here, Ramona.
Thanks.
Hope they don't cause you too much trouble. Let's go, guys." And he starts to walk out. And as he does, he takes Coen's tray and then flips it onto Coen, spilling porridge all over him.
Ooh.
And they start walking away laughing.
Coen, you want my porridge? I'm gonna go look for bugs.
Coen pulls the hot porridge off himself, steams a little bit, and starts kind of eating the porridge that's on his face or wherever it's been tipped onto.
So you ate the porridge off your body.
Yes, I gotta eat my body porridge. And he makes another
It's
mark
exfoliating.
he makes another mark in his mental revenge notebook to get revenge on that guy.
I'm gonna make another check to see if I can find any bugs in this room.
Okay.
17.
You do see some flies around the window, gathering around what looks like a several-day-old crust of bread.
Okay. I'm gonna use a bowl to try and catch them.
Okay.
What kind of check should that be? Sleight of hand?
I think we don't need to worry too much about that. That's not a difficult thing to do, is to catch flies in a bowl.
All right.
Let's just assume you wave your bowl there, you stick your hand in, and the flies are trapped underneath there.
Good.
So,
Okay, while Skumk is looking for bugs, are those sanitation workers still hanging out, eating their breakfast?
No, they've already stepped away as well. They were one of the first to enter.
So where do they go? Back to their cells? Are they going to the yard? Where are people
they've
going?
gone to their work duty, and the way you know they went to their work duty is a guard shows up. The same guard who was giving you shit earlier is like, "Time to go to work, boys."
Okay. I've got no problem with that.
all right.
Even though 2 of you are girls, he just calls you boys.
He's talking to us.
Yeah.
Oh,
With accommodations like this, I can't expect a free ride.
what exactly are we gonna do?
Oh, you get the easy part. You get to work outside. And he
I like
nudges he nudges you towards the door that leads out to the yard and says, "Go out there, go to the garden, and pull the weeds. There's tons of them. You'll be out there with Dave, Herm, and German."
Dave, Herm, and German?
Yeah,
Are those two people?
those are.
Is that one person?
Dave, Herman German. He's an old timer. He's been here for years.
You would know him.
Ages. Everybody loves old Dave Hermangerman.
I mean, they keep his bed ready for him. Like, they keep letting him out. He keeps coming back in.
Yeah. He just can't cope in the real world. Cohen's getting that way
No.
already.
It's not Dave Hermanger. It is three people named Dave. Well, one person named Dave.
Three
The other
people
one
named
is-
Dave?
People named Dave.
Okay. So three Daves.
One person
The
named
three Daves.
Herm.
Three
around
Daves,
here.
a person
There's-
named Herm,
there's-
and a German.
There's
and
short
one man
there's,
named
so that's-
German.
there's short Dave. There's skinny Dave, and then there's tall Dave.
Well, one of those Daves is Dave Hermangerman.
We just call him Dave. Like everyone who works here is just on those terms with him.
Dave H.
Okay.
All right. He unlocks. Well, the door's not locked. You're able to go to the door and open it, and outside you see that Dave, Herm, and German are apparently the three men who. Well, one of them is the one who spilled the porridge or flipped the porridge onto Coen.
I whisper to Ramona and I say, if we were to get ourselves into solitary, is there any way that we would be able to access this room?
If you get yourself in solitary, you'd have to somehow get out of solitary to get access to that room.
Okay. That's not something that would be particularly possible.
Not without
No.
magic.
Okay.
Not without
I
magic,
walk up-
not without a key or something.
I walk
'Cause
up
I
to the
really
people
wanna
and
fight.
I say, "Is one of you Dave Hermangerman?" We were told we were gonna work with a Dave Hermangerman.
Damn it. Okay. The one who's giving you the most shit turns around and he says, "God, you're an idiot. My name is Dave. What do you want?"
Are you Dave Hermangerman?
No, there's no Dave Herman German. I'm
What hap-
Dave.
What
He
happened
points
to
the
Dave Herman
big-
German?
Do you
There's
have
no
a
Dave
last
Herman
name?
German. I am Dave. The big guy is Herman, and my dwarf buddy here is German.
Some people just don't have last names, and it's okay. I don't have a last name.
I could give a shit.
I start pulling weeds.
He looks at Coen, and he walks up to Coen and says, "Did you like breakfast?"
I say nothing. Just keep pulling weeds.
I like breakfast.
He grabs you by your hair and lifts you up and brings your face up to his and says, "Did you like breakfast?"
The porridge was pretty good, but
He ate all of it. He loved it.
And he looks at your outfit with the watery porridge actually mostly gone. And he's like, "Ha ha, you did, didn't you?"
Sir,
they had some good
I give
flies.
you a few I'm going to give you 5 seconds to let me go.
And what are you going to do after
will
5
feel,
seconds?
or so help me Bast, you will feel Bast's wrath.
You can try. Look at the guards over there watching. You
I
think
wave
they're
at
gonna
the
do
guards.
anything about this?
I headbutt him.
All right, give him a roll attack.
Sure. It's a 10. He wouldn't have armor on, so
He wouldn't have armor, but no, his armor class is still higher than 10. So you headbutt him, and he catches your forehead with his hand. He's pretty quick,
nice.
and says, "That's not a smart move, buddy." And then kind of just pushes you to the ground and walks away.
Pushes me to the ground. Can I contest that?
Oh yeah, let's do a strength contest.
I don't want to be just pushed to the ground like this.
I mean, he does have it. I'm gonna give him advantage because he's got your head in his hand.
Okay. That's a 18, not a 20.
Oh, you added the +6.
Yeah.
So we'll say he rolled an 18. You rolled an 18. So we'll say he tries to push you down. You resist as much as you can, but you keep from falling.
Cool.
You stumble a bit, though.
I mutter a curse
right.
to Bast under my breath.
He returns to his pals, and they just burst into laughter. He like whispers stuff to them, and they point at you guys, and they just laugh. But you find that they mostly do it to Coen. Coen seems to be really the target of their japes and the butt of their jokes. They seem to, for whatever reason, ignore Jelly, they ignore Skumk, and they ignore Ramona for the most part.
That's fine. I got a thick skin. I can cope.
So you guys spend the afternoon toiling in the gardens, pulling weeds, mostly uneventful. The guard who was giving you shit earlier in the day sometimes comes around and just kind of kicks your feet in. And he doesn't focus on Coen. He does it to all of you. He just doesn't give a shit. But you see that he keeps a respectful distance from the other three. It doesn't really bother them at all. Doesn't talk to them. Kind of avoids them. But he's just totally giving you shit as much as he can.
He must not like them.
He then calls you. He says, "All right, boys,
I'm a girl.
it's lunchtime." And he opens up the cafeteria door. You guys head in. This time, everyone's just kind of coming in from everywhere. And you get in line. And he allows Dave, Herm, and German to cut in front of you.
I'm not going to get in line because I've been snacking all day.
Oh, the garden must have been a veritable feast for you.
I would, while in line, I look around for the sanitation workers.
You do see the sanitation workers. This time they show up kind of last. And Ramona's got you seated still on the same table you were at, even though you were earlier in the line, just because she likes to keep her distance from the other inmates. And she likes having you guys around. And you do see the sanitation workers eventually end up coming in last in line.
I'll go over to them.
Coen, come with me for emotional support.
Sure.
All right.
I want to walk to the back of the line with.
All right. As you walk to the back of the line, I need Coen to perform a dexterity check.
Sure. Coen ain't real
Dexterity saving throw.
Coen's a bit slow.
10. You notice too late that the dwarf named German has stuck his foot out in front of you and tripped you, causing you to fall into jelly.
And do
Oh,
we
God.
do
The
we all
person,
come?
not a pile of jelly.
Stan, how do we land?
Yeah. Let's have this landing.
All right, let's see. Jelly, I want you to do a dexterity saving throw now.
19.
All right, you rolled the 19. Okay, you whip around quickly as you notice Coen is about to fall. Coen falls. You turn around and you grab him by the armpits and hold him steady so that he doesn't fall completely. The room otherwise sees this, and they all point and laugh at you two.
I blush.
Oh my god! I feel like I'm back in high school. This is an aside from the podcast, but oh wow, this is bad.
There's a reason for this, Jody. You were a loser in high school.
Yeah, you're a loser now, and you're a loser in high school.
You think life is hard? You're wrong. It's easy. You just suck.
All right. Coen picks it himself up and pretends that he that he meant to do that.
Skumk is like, whoa, that was a sweet move. He really meant to do that.
So, you guys approach the guys at the sanitation workers, and they kind of look at you meekly and say, "What do you want?"
Hi.
I'd like to say, and I'd walk behind Coen and see Coen. You tell him.
Oh, hi guys. Let me introduce myself. I'm Coen Greyfield. I work for a Bast. Have you heard of her? Have you heard the good word of Bast lately?
No.
That's not
Oh.
relevant to this.
Coen, that's not relevant.
We're just introducing ourselves and getting our credentials. What
I'm
might your
Skumk.
names be?
What?
I was just asking what are your names? What do you people call yourselves?
We can't talk to you.
Oh,
And
Hey,
they
look,
they turn
I've-
their backs to you.
I like peek
Oh.
around. I like peek around Coen. It's like, would you like maybe want to get out of prison, guys?
And they say, "You're not the way out of prison."
But what
And
if?
they keep their backs to you.
But what if together we were?
These guys seem cool.
You're gonna need to roll a persuasion check, and
Alright.
it's not gonna be any easy check on this.
15.
The one who's been talking turns to you and says, "Look, I know you're probably gonna try, and that's cool, but we can't
Can I
talk to you. Okay,
can I
we can't.
Can I try a deception roll?
Sure. But how are you gonna try to deceive them? Because I got to know how to answer you.
Just trust me on this one, Stan. 22.
All right.
I look at them and say, I'm perfectly confident that together we could do this.
They turn and the one turns and says, "I believe you."
You do?
then turns
I
his-
mean,
turns
that's
his-
great.
Back to you. And they really just they're hardcore doing. They look terrified of you guys.
Have two ideas, neither of which I really like, but okay, let's go back to our table with
yeah, let's
Ramona.
go have lunch.
All right.
We need all right, Ramona.
All right.
Those guys seem so nice. It's terrible. It's terrible these days how people just never get to know their neighbors.
Ramona.
What's for lunch, Stan?
Oh, I apologize. Your lunch is some kind of weird slop. It's like a stew that looks like it's been sitting out for a while that has some bread mixed in, kind of like some shitty dumplings.
Delicious.
Just like Mom used to
Coen
make.
hose in.
And the meat that's in there is just mostly fat
Ah.
and gristle. Yeah, it's gross.
Ramona, these guys don't seem to want to play ball with us, but I've got two ideas.
Ramona says, "That's really weird. They're usually really friendly."
They seem to be very keen on not helping us specifically. They maybe someone to talk to them about us.
I'm afraid it might be because Dave Hermangerman doesn't like me. I don't know what
Dave
I did
Herman-
to offend him.
Dave really doesn't seem to like you for some reason. Something's crazy going on here. I've never seen them treat anyone this badly before.
Maybe I should go make friends with them.
Sometimes you just
What-
need to meet people where they are in life, you know?
Okay, I've got a couple ideas. How do you get... Who's in charge of, assigning work duty? How do they pick that?
That's determined by the warden. The warden determines that, but I've never seen the warden.
Well, how about this? If one or more of those guys weren't able to work sanitation anymore, they would have to find replacement guys, right?
I assume so.
Are you thinking about hurting one of those guys?
I'm not thinking of shanking them or anything, but if we could somehow orchestrate it so they couldn't work anymore just for a day,
I don't know.
Like maybe they have to go on a holiday.
Maybe not kill them, but maybe give them a really bad case of diarrhea or something.
Maybe their wife is sick, so they have to stay home and take care of them.
Wait, I have a question. Actually, the door to the yard was not locked. Is that back door to solitary not locked?
The
You'd have to go over there and check it.
the back door to solitary is locked.
Okay.
Except during well, it's locked. Yeah, anyone who goes in is only allowed in through using a key.
And it's opened whenever the sanitation worker, for a second, to let the sanitation workers in, right?
Right, they're escorted by guards and they're overwatched by guards.
Are they after lunch, are they going back down there?
Well, no. We're all going to have some time in our cells after lunch, and then we'll go back to work.
No, good. I can do some more push-ups and do some prayer. Pray to boast.
That's nice.
Okay.
We can have some family time.
Okay, how about this? If we started the riot, like, while they were opening that door, while it was unlocked, we could sneak in.
You could, and that sounds like a great idea.
I can start a riot. I've got some vengeance that needs
My only concern
doing.
is with the weird way everyone's been acting is that they'll ignore the riot and run right to you guys.
Well, what if I pick a fight with Dave Hermangerman? All three of them, in fact. And while I'm doing that, one of you two sneak, or even both of you can sneak down there.
Her eyes get big, and she was like, they won't let you live. Are you sure you could handle it?
I can handle it. Don't you
I'll
worry
be
about
fine.
that.
Let's talk woman to woman right now, Ramona. How powerful a spellcaster are you?
I'm a pretty good spellcaster. You know, I've got fireball. And,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I can do some pretty good damage. All we have to do is just unlock that and is just turn off that dampening field.
All right.
Exactly.
Maybe
Coen,
I
if
will.
you
I
can
will
stay,
go and talk to Dave Hermangerman, and we'll start a nice little riot. How's that sound?
Yeah. If you start that right, if Ramona stays around with you, we just have to make sure that we turn it off quickly enough to just survive till then, and then she can work to get them off you. Then we'll come out, and then Skumk and I will be in a position to help you.
Worst comes to worst, we'll end up in solitary confinement, and we can try something different.
Yeah.
We've got time.
All right. I get up and walk over to Dave Hermangerman, and I say,
and just as
we can't do it right now. We need to wait until we just went over that it's locked right now. We're going to go back to our cells, then come out here.
Later.
Yeah, and
Sorry,
as a matter
I
of fact,
missed that bit of the
I
plan.
wave at him and say, "Hi, Dave."
he spits at you, whatever food is in his mouth.
That's nice.
And just as this is happening, guards come in and say, "All right, to your cells."
All right. It's push-up time.
All right, so they open up. They everyone kind of gets up and walks into the cell hallway and heads to their respective cells. And once you guys get settled into your cells,
I blow a kiss to Dave Hermangerman as we're walking through there.
He scowls at you, and he looks visibly upset that you are even willing to do that. Once you get to your cells, the guards, all four guards, gather around your cell, and two guards,
guards,
get on either side of Ramona and grab her arms.
Don't do
I
that.
like this.
And he says, "Well, you've been chatting away with these three, haven't you, Ramona?" And she's like, "Just normal conversation." And they're like, "Well, Warden says you've earned yourself some time in solitary."
That's not very nice.
And they walk her, they basically escort her this way, kind of just lifting her up since she's just a child, or at least in the body of a child, and head her out. And as she's being escorted out, she is like struggling as much as she can, but to no avail. And as she gets further and further from you, she's shouting at you guys, saying, "Help me! Get me out! Get me out!" And then one of the guards pops her in the back of the head, and she gets knocked out. And they disappear behind the door. And you guys are now left alone in your cell.
Why would those guards do that? They always seemed so nice.
Well, this is a fantastic clusterfuck of a situation.
I do remember from the last podcast. I mean, the last time we were yesterday. the guard with the keys was easily distracted. I wonder if we need to get those somehow.
Wait, so did just
Coen,
2 guards take her away?
The guards took her away.
How many?
How many guards took her away?
All four of them?
4 of them, right.
All right.
But you are locked in right now.
Coen, you're kind of a handsome man. Could you seduce him?
Of course. But there's no guard here at the moment, is there?
No.
All right, so I'm just going to do my put my feet up on the bed and do the push-ups with the feet up on the bed.
You hear the door from the delousing chamber open, and coming in with an escort of 2 new guards is the fat bald man. And he walks straight to your cells and looks at you.
Hi.
And
I'm still doing push-ups.
he looks at you, Skumk, and goes, "Hi."
I remember you. You're
Oh,
that guy.
I sure hope you do.
Yeah, I do.
I was wondering if perhaps you may have reconsidered my offer.
What? Was it something about sandwiches? I forget.
He ignores you. But he looks at Coen, and he looks at, he especially looks at Jelly. Well,
Hey. Oh. Listen, sir, you have to understand my situation.
maybe you need to understand this. I'm going to sweeten the pot a little. No money. But if you accept my deal,
Good already.
Remember.
You don't need to keep selling it.
you admit to being part of the Blazing Dusk, and you tell us where their headquarters is, the girl lives, and you will be freed. The 1,000 gold is now off the table. If you refuse, I'm going to put in the order for her death. And your days in prison, you thought today was bad. Every day after this will be much, much worse.
Did you guys think today was bad? I thought it was fine.
Believe me, I've had worse days.
I've had better days, but I will survive.
As it says, well, if you read my backstory, you'll know I've had much worse days. Anyway, let me tell you about it. Pull up a chair and rap to you for a second.
Apparently you don't care about this girl's life, do you?
Well, listen,
We wish we could help you. We would love to save the girl's life. I would tell you
Here's-
anything, but I don't
here's the
know
thing,
anything.
sir, we're facing off against 2 unknown forces when we're having to choose between them, and it's very difficult. Very difficult. You know,
It's clear and black and white to me, but I don't
like-
know anything.
it's like if you imagine someone gives you 2 boxes and says there are 2 animals inside of this box.
That happened to me once.
Really?
Yeah, it was a pigeon and a skunk. That's how I got my name.
Really? Is that like a goblin thing?
No. It was just my older brother.
Yeah, siblings can do that to you sometimes.
He's dead now.
It
Whatever.
can be that way. Wait, is he really dead?
Who knows? Who can keep track? There's so many of them.
How many siblings do you have?
I forget. Like I said, who's counting?
I hope. Well, never mind. This is not part of any. This isn't part of the actual story. Sir, why do you? What is it about us that makes us so special? I mean, if we were involved in such a thing as you have accused us of being, we would be very, very bottom of the totem pole, so to speak. You know?
He looks at you and says, "Yeah, I know. That's why you'd get to go free. No one gives a shit about you guys.
Aww.
Here's the thing. I know you're Blazing Dusk. You had their materials with you. That shit is so hard to get. The
What, the
only people
dildos?
who see that,
There's
the
a whole shop
only-
of them in the red light district.
the only people who have access to their materials are people they want to have access to their materials. So you
Sir,
are
there has been a
Blazing
misunderstanding.
Dusk.
We were walking past that tree, and we found this big, long, cylindrical object, and we picked it up. That's all there is
That's
to it.
not
you
what
have,
I
you have
was
made a mistake.
informed. My men followed you from the city.
Well, it was a
don't
different
know
forest.
anything
We were
about
going to that forest from the other forest.
Yes. That what he said.
Okay. All right. He pulls out a bit of parchment from a briefcase, and he said he puts it on a guard's back, and he pulls out a quill from the briefcase and puts his signature on it, then puts the quill back in, rolls the paper up, and hands it to the guard and says, "Make sure this gets delivered to the palace."
Who are you even?
Who am I?
Who are you?
My name is Jack. I'm the steward to the king.
Hi, Stuart.
That's nice.
Jack Stewart?
Jack Torrance?
And
Jack Reacher?
Hermangerman?
Jack Ryan?
Hugh
Jack
Jackman?
Black?
All right, we're just saying
yes,
names now.
and a whole lot of pop culture references. And he turns and says, he looks at you and says, "Too bad you didn't get to say goodbye to her." And he walks away. The other guards who had guided her down walk out. Two of them meet with one of the guards who stayed with him, and they get relieved. And in fact, you eventually see all the guards get relieved for duty, and three of them of the new ones who came in step out, and one stays in. And the one who stayed in was the one who you noticed previously was easily distracted. But this time, after having spoken with the other guards and spoken with Jack, he walks to your cell. He looks at you and he says, "You're gonna make me so rich." This is Stan Ferguson,
This is Jody.
This is Trevor.
And this is Ivan.
and we
Hi.
just want to beseech you to tell your friends, tell everyone you love and care about to listen to They See Me Rolling.
Like our
Yeah.
page on Facebook, or I guess it's a group. Join our group.
Yeah, join our group and come and have a chat. We're always there if you want to chat with us about Dungeons and Dragonings and whatever's going on in the
And
adventures
so
and
is a
stuff like
cool
that.
guy
Absolutely.
named Matthew.
Listen, what you understand, Matthew is very lonely in the group. Okay, he needs someone to talk to, someone
Yeah,
to
You don't
someone
want
to help
Matthew
feed
to
him.
be alone, do
Hey,
you?
hey, Matthew was very nice and actually shared our thing. I
Yeah,
think we
you
should
should
give our
listen to
thanks
his
to Matthew.
podcast, Square Roots.
Exactly. Listen to Square Roots. It is
Absolutely.
a
Listen to
great
Square Roots podcast.
about Japanese RPGs where they play together and discuss it.
They play together,
Yep.
they play with each other. It's
They
great.
they play with each other all podcast. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
They just
Listen,
play with
for just-
themselves. It's a great podcast.
For the cost of just 2 pennies a day, you can help support a Matthew in need.
Actually, that's a lie.
Matthews
it
need
costs
your
you
help.
nothing to listen to Matthew. Matthew Van Sant, John Brandon, and Jim Banks.
German.
Vanessa's
Dave
on
German
there
Herman.
sometimes.
Yeah, heck, I've been on
He's
there
a-
for to DM or GM a little game of Fate.
Oh, has that episode come out yet?
The first part has. Yeah.
No, well, download,
download
that.
that. Listen to it.
Oh, and also our podcast. Subscribe to it, like us, rate us, All right, I think we nailed that bit.
Why? We just started plugging his podcast.
We hit that out of the soccer
I
stadium.
think
Out
we
of
should probably
the park.
tell him that we plugged it.